This is music, and this is a bag full of dirt cheap vinyl records. That's right, they are back in business. The Accord outlet is back. Now, those of you who don't know, Accord is a chain of record stores here in Copenhagen. They have a bunch of stores just called Accord, where they sell secondhand and new pressings, vinyl, CDs, DVDs, all sorts of music media. And then they have one shop downtown called Sound by Accord, which has specialized in new pressings. And then they used to have an outlet that had specialized in secondhand physical music media, including not just music media, actually, also DVDs and books and stuff. Uh, but CDs, cassette tapes, vinyl, all sorts of things. Really, really cheap. Typically, the condition would be VG minus at best. Uh, but they had this Dutch auction where the prices would drop every day throughout a month. So towards the end of the month, you could buy large quantities of vinyl really, really cheap. And I thought that was just such a great thing because it would enable like younger persons who typically don't have a whole bunch of money to, start their record collections if they're interested in collecting vinyl records or physical music media in general, or to expand their collections, or if just to experience owning physical music media and listening to them. So I thought that was great, but sadly they had to close down that shop a couple of years ago because the rent was too high. But now they have reopened it. They're back in business. And now they've opened a shop very close to the Rundetårn downtown. That's the Round Tower. It's a famous site here in Copenhagen. So it's a very central location. So hey, if you are sightseeing in Copenhagen, check out the Rundetårn because then you can drop by the Accord outlet. It's now called Accord-ish Lagerudsalg by Accord. And I went there yesterday just to check it out. And the price of the day was one item 40 Danish kroner, which is already pretty cheap. But if you bought 10 items, it was 330 altogether. So that's 33 Danish kroner per item. That's very cheap. They also have a small number of new pressings on display that you can buy there. They're not part of this Dutch auction or anything like that. So I actually picked up one of those, namely this one here, Nevermind by Nirvana. And I'm not a fan of grunge. I'm not even a fan of Nirvana, but Bleach and Nevermind are the two only Nirvana albums I have an interest in, and I really like those two albums. So there you go. I decided to pick that one up. The rest of the contents of this bag are dirt cheap vinyl records. Let us have a look. The first one, yeah, Black Rose by Thin Lizzy. Normally, at least in the old version of their outlet, they typically don't have this style of music in the outlet. They normally sell it in their standard record stores. Um, so metal and hard rock, you have to be really lucky to find that in the outlet. But they had this one, and I think it's because of this epic seam split. It's virtually a gatefold. Um, the record itself needs a good clean, and then I think I can make it a VG plus. So that's so cool. I'm glad I found that one. I had to pick that one up. And on a related note, I also found a copy of this, which is in pretty decent condition. Gary Moore still got the blues. With a good clean, I can probably get this one up to VG plus two, and this one doesn't even have a seam split. So that's cool. Now, something quite different. This isn't even music. Robin Hood. This is an audio play for kids. telling the story of Robin Hood. I have this one on cassette tape. They were originally released, I think, on vinyl, and then in the 80s they were reissued, maybe 70s, 80s. They were reissued on cassette tapes, and I do have the cassette tape. I still have it. And this one stars Peter Kidder, who also voiced Captain Haddock on the Tintin uh, audio plays for kids, the Danish versions of them. So that's pretty cool. And I found some more radio plays or audio plays. This one here, Vinny 1, Part 2, and also Vinny 1, Part 1. And this is going to also be maybe an unexpected contribution to the controversial music release, artist, whatever thread that's going on these days. There's this thread going on where people discuss whether it's a problem or not that you're not allowed, apparently, to show and listen to right-wing music, but you're also not allowed to show and listen to left-wing music, but you're also not allowed to choose to not show and listen to right-wing music, or to choose to not listen to and not show left-wing music. So it's a whole thing. Um, I do have my political view on the world, and let's just say it's more in line with Napalm Death, Sacred Reich, and Rage Against the Machine. I hope you can respect that. If not, I think you're a dickhead because I respect your view. Anyways, so why is this controversial? Well, these are based on stories by a German author who claimed to be an expert on Native American uh, culture and history and all that stuff. I may be getting some details wrong here, by the way, but it turned out that he had never even set foot in the United States. He had never met a Native American. And also, apparently, he was Hitler's favorite author. So, how about that for controversial stuff? Anyways, let's move on. I also found this one is really cool. This copy of Klaatu, and this one is called Sir Army Suit. So, Klaatu, Barata. Some of you will get that joke. Anyways, uh, if that's not cool, then this is. They had like a complete set of the War of the Worlds musical version, Jeff Wayne's version. Awesome stuff. So I had to grab this one. And this one also 33 Danish kroner, right? So that's really cheap. And so far, I checked out the condition on all the records. So far, with a good clean, they will all, I think, be VG or VG plus. I also grabbed this one, Young Guns 2, Blaze of Glory, uh, John Bon Jovi. This is something I would never have picked up had it not been, uh, that cheap. And I think some of the songs are actually genuinely good. Some of them are maybe genuinely good, but not my cup of tea. But there you go. And also this one here, yes, going for the one. Um, Not my favorite Yes album, but at 33 Danish kroner, I mean, it might end up being my favorite album. I do have it on CD. I don't reach for it that often, but I mean, that cheap. I mean, it's good. It's not my favorite though, if you know what I mean. And up last, Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force. Again, this is not something you see very often. At least you didn't see that very often in the old outlet. But they had this one. Uh, I think it's because the jacket is kind of damaged. I had to pick this one up. Doesn't even have a seam split, but I mean, it's not in mint condition, right? But I checked out the um, condition of the record itself. Like I said, with a good clean, VG or maybe even VG plus. So really cool. I was so happy to be able to go and buy stuff in that outlet again. I think it's a great way for especially younger people, people who don't have a whole bunch of money to keep collecting vinyl. And you know what? Records don't have to be near mint or sealed or anything. whatever is good for you is whatever is good for you, and that's what you should be going for, I think. So there you go. Thanks for watching.
Hvad mener vi det? Hvad tyder de på? På mig? Sådan en trompetsnegl.